Hey, it's been a long time since we've had an update. We have moved the probe into the clean fixed car garage. It's had a full corner balance and alignment, and it's ready to go. Save for probably need to get it back up on the stands one more time and do a full nut and bolt on the whole thing. Just make sure everything's tightened down. But we're ready for our first Optima event next month in New Orleans. But that's not why we have this video today. The video today is because we've got a new project coming, and I'm kind of excited. Should be a fun one, but we have to go and get it. It is not here. It's in Pennsylvania. So we're gonna have to hitch the trailer up and go on a little road trip. Okay, we got all the things loaded we're going to need to go after a car that doesn't run. So we've got 2 trailer spares because we're traveling halfway across the country. You never leave home with just 1 trailer spare, especially if you're going a long way. The battery is for running the winch because we're going to need to winch this thing onto the trailer. Obviously we need a jack. The 2 totes are coming so that we can store the large amount of spare parts that are coming with this thing that we don't want to just sit in the bed. They might get wet on the way home. And then, of course, the truck box itself is full of the usual tools and other accoutrements. We're going to throw a tool bag in the passenger floorboard that's got the impact and some sockets in it. And we'll be heading out first thing in the morning. So we're a good bit into Pennsylvania now. We just got through the kind of the mountainy bits in the western part of the state on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, which is the best road I've been on in a long time. Even the 20-mile stretch of construction I just went through was smooth and no potholes, and everything was marked. Good job, Pennsylvania. I'm impressed. But I really wanted to think about this truck because this is a 1990 F-250. It's got 178,203 miles as of right now, and I think this truck is the reason I can afford to race cars. It just is. I bought it from a friend of mine's grandmother a few years ago. I guess 5 years ago now, 6 years maybe. Paid $2,000 for it. I needed to have the transmission gone through because it sat for a while. It just wasn't working right, and the brakes were completely rusted. So whatever. So bought it for $2,000, about $2,500 in maintenance to get deferred maintenance, get it caught. So I'm up to $4,500 into this truck, and then I loaded my car on it and towed all the way to Las Vegas and back from Louisville, Kentucky. And never had a single problem. And that's kind of been the story ever since with this truck, is every fall I take it into my buddy John Grossman at Grossman Tuning in Louisville, Kentucky. Look him up, and whatever they find on it, I just have it fixed, and usually I get out of that annual maintenance for anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500, and then I drive it for another year, and the only thing I do in that year is change the oil. I do that myself, and it just goes. And so, I think most people these days, their truck payment is over $1,000 a month, and here I am with $1,500 in maintenance per year on a paid-for truck, and I think this is the reason why I've been able to do this, because I don't have a $60,000 truck. It's got the legendary Ford 300 cubic inch inline 6 in it, which in 1990 it was rated at 148 horsepower. It's sounds terrible, right? It's almost 300 pound-feet of torque at idle, which means with 456 rear gears, you're not going to go fast necessarily, but it will pull almost anything. And it's an F250, so it's got the 1-ton axles, and the heavy-duty E40D 4-speed automatic. And the cool part is the fuel mileage. I'll get 12 to 13 miles per gallon towing. I've seen a modern EcoBoost F150, which empty, putting around town, you'll get 20 miles per gallon in that easily. This thing gets 14 miles per gallon tootling around town. But an EcoBoost pulling a trailer gets 8, right? 10 maybe. So just on that, on a long trip, fuel matters. And so this thing is basically 50% more fuel efficient, which means my fuel costs are basically 2/3 of everybody else's. So that's another reason I can afford to keep racing. And then the other thing on this trip, which, this truck's got 178,000 miles on it, just on a whim, because, the idle bin act a little funny, whatever, I was like, I'm about to go on a 600 mile each way, 1,200 mile trip. Let's just dump 17 ounces of seafoam in each of the tanks and just see what happens, right? And I'm going to tell you, coming through the hills a little bit ago, I could tell it's made a difference. And I can't strap it down to a dyno and prove anything with it, but we're pulling the trailer. The trailer's empty, but it still weighs 2,000 pounds. And passing on hills, no problem, which normally is a problem, even pulling the empty trailer. You get a good grade, the thing will pull down to like 50 miles an hour. We'll really know pulling the car back the other direction, but I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, seafoam's not bullshit. Stuff seems to work. So there's a data point there. About running out of daylight here, so I'll quit with the updates for right now. We're 115 miles from the hotel. We'll pick this up tomorrow.
The next day.
Alright, so if you can see by the mess behind me, we've picked something up and are heading on the way home. So, what did we pick up? It's 1992 Chevrolet Corvette. It's got the 350 LT1. There's a 2-bolt main LT1 block in it. Car doesn't run. It seems to be out of time. It's easy enough to fix. It takes a few minutes. But it did come with the original 4-bolt block. Also got an extra set of wheels, a set of Bridgestone RE71s. You can see the exhaust is not on the car. It's kind of strapped to the top of the truck bed. Got some additional parts. Got one of the rare can be OBD2 timing covers, and that's a big deal because what that's going to let me do is I can put a crank trigger on it. That 96 timing cover has a crank angle sensor boss in it, so I can get a 36-1 crank trigger wheel and put that on the system, and that will make timing it easier. Other than that, it's complete. It's got a lot of miles. It is definitely worn out. This is definitely going to be a long-term project. We're going to have to tear this car probably all the way down to the tub. So that's the plan. We've just got on the Pennsylvania, thank God. We're on the Pennsylvania Turnpike heading home. Got about 550 miles left, and we got to unload it by myself. It doesn't run. be able to do it. It'll be fine. All right. It's westbound or down.
Several days later.
Corvette. This is a base model, no frills, automatic transmission. It needs some love, right? We got clear coat peel there, defects around. Looks like somebody sanded the clear coat off of this already, thinking they were going to paint it. Got some chunks taken out of the top. Got a lot of the rockers are blasted. I don't know what this, I guess there was an emblem here and it came off. I guess it took the paint with it, so that'll have to be body work. That panel is actually inside the car. Walking around, you got, again, some attempts at some paint repair. Turn signal bulbs need to be restored. Got a good chunk out of it here. Wheels are in good shape. Walking around. Look at this. So, you know, it needs paint. We're going to blow it apart for paint. It needs weather stripping. We're missing weather stripping in some areas. And you can see this window is rolled all the way up, but it's not adjusted right. Have to fix that. Glass is in good shape. Here's the business end. Alright, so this is the infamous LT1 V8 Gen 2 small block with the much maligned OptiSpark. It's got a Lunati cam in it, some nice long tube headers. Coolant's not hooked up yet. It's all dirty, so obviously need to be cleaned. Interior is in decent shape. It's dirty. It's definitely got miles. Missing some trim pieces, and those might be in here. Like here's that rocker panel in the front. Here's the dress-up valve cover trim. That's in here. Got some extra headlight buckets and some other stuff in here. New emblems back there in a bag. It is the 700 R4 4-speed automatic, which people will scream, "Oh, that's not a stick." We're not going for nostalgia here. I can rebuild that transmission. It will hold more power and shift faster than any manual that could possibly fit in here. Sure, you could spend a whole bunch of money on a Tremec or one of those TKO 6 speeds. I don't think it's necessary. You know, with a quality torque converter and a good build on your automatic, it's gonna be fine. I learned that on the Buick. But yeah, that's it. This will be our future. We'll be racing the Probe this year, and then we're going to be working on this hopefully for a debut for the 2024 season. And that's my dog once inside.